performance of Switch 2 ports is unacceptable at the moment.
I just wanted some sauce on those zingers.
Hey everybody, shameless plug. In the description below is a link to my ASMR channel called Tech25 ASMR. I'm actually going to be reviewing a really weird handheld next. One of my other projects had to be put to the side because the console I had blew up. No, I'm not kidding. But this one works. I'm going to be actually recording the ASMR video today, so there will be a new video this week. I know I said it in previous videos I made for this channel that a new ASMR video would be posted, but technical issues got in the way. This time they won't be, and you will see a new video very soon. I'm cooking it up today. Link below to Tech25 ASMR in the description and top pin comment. So we got to talk about ports on the Switch 2. And this is a big concern in terms of performance, because that was the big selling point of the original Switch. Blah, 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 blah. Third-party games, you need third-party, first-party. I've talked about all this before. But one thing I was hoping is that due to the extra horsepower of the Switch 2, they would be able to get decent ports over to Nintendo's new console. And Cyberpunk 2077 ended up being a great port. Street Fighter 6, I hear, runs really well. And okay, good, well done, especially Cyberpunk 2077, because I heard in the beginning when people were playing Cyberpunk 2077 for the Switch 2 before it released, it was running pretty rough. But now for new games on the horizon for the Switch 2, like Elden Ring and Borderlands 4. And it's not looking good right now. We could have a complete 180 like we did with Cyberpunk 2077, but it seems like FromSoft and Gearbox are having a problem with Nintendo's newest piece of hardware. Let's start with Elden Ring. So what I'm hearing is that Elden Ring in handheld mode is a complete nightmare. IGN's Ian Higton actually played it over there, and he said anytime you were in an open area, essentially, unless you were standing still, the game chugged. If there was combat, the game chugged. If you were in an open area, the game chugged. If you rode on torrent, the game chugged. Which is not good, because Elden Ring already has the infamous From Software performance problems, which have plagued virtually all Souls games. And now having it where it runs even worse on the Switch 2 is not good. Now, of course, they could turn this around before the game comes out, but From Software is not known for optimizing their engines, so it's something to definitely keep an eye on, especially if you're hyped for Elden Ring on the Switch 2. I keep on wanting to call it Elden Ring 2. Maybe that's subconscious wishful thinking. Anyway, moving on. How about Borderlands 4? How's that running on the Switch 2? It's running terrible. I only heard about this in passing, but when I was looking up stuff for Elden Ring on the Switch 2, I came across how Borderlands 4 is performing, and it's performing really bad. According to leaker Epic NNG, this is what he said about Borderlands 4 in the Switch 2. Okay, I'll just put it bluntly. Borderlands 4 in the Switch 2 could barely run at 30 FPS with 4 enemies on screen in docked mode, where the console would have an extra bit of horsepower because it's running at a higher wattage. It had horrendous input delay, and the render resolution was seemingly turned all the way down. And this is something that was just discussed by Epic NNG. And Borderlands 4 is not that far away. It's coming out September 12th. Look, you could throw numbers at me all you want from June and July about the Switch 2, and you could talk about how it's selling, and that's great. I hope it is successful. This is the thing that people don't understand. But I'm going to be a straight shooter with this, and when I see things about the Switch 2, how third-party games are running on it, it does concern me. I thought it would have been a little more capable out of the gate. I didn't think that developers were going to struggle this much, but here we are with 2 major games for the Switch 2 from third parties, and both of them are struggling. I understand games need to be optimized before they're released, but if you really think about it, Borderlands 4, fine. It's a new game. It's a new sequel in the Borderlands IP. But Elden Ring is a game that's been around since 2022. And on top of it, albeit it runs poorly, it was even running on the Xbox One and PlayStation 4, which were released in 2013. Again, especially on the Xbox One, it doesn't run great. But you would think, even though it's mobile tech, that the Switch 2 would be able to run Elden Ring noticeably better than the base consoles of the 8th generation from 2013. But it's not. What's going to happen in the future with the Switch 2? What's going to happen when current generation games come out for the Switch 2? How is Call of Duty going to run? It was supposed to be coming out on parity, Microsoft said, when they were trying to acquire Activision Blizzard. It was supposed to be coming out at the same time as the other consoles. That never happened. I hear it is still coming out, Black Ops 7 to the Switch 2. But how is that going to perform when people are used to getting at least 60 FPS, even on consoles? If there's going to be a bunch of drops on the Switch 2, will anyone really want to play Call of Duty Black Ops 7 on the Switch 2? Time will tell, and I'm hoping that these is a learning curve of the new hardware with developers. But when you keep on seeing games struggling, and developers and leakers are talking about how the games are running brutally on the Switch 2, it makes you wonder where the console will be in a couple years if this is hardware limitations that are causing the Switch 2 to have third-party ports run so poorly, where developers have to do a ton of nip and tuck and optimizations to get them to run. I was hoping that the extra horsepower under the hood would have this not happen, where games really had to be optimized, but here we are. And I hate to bring it up again, Elden Ring has been running on the Steam Deck, and this is just a fact. And I am not a Steam Deck fanboy. I just started playing the thing again after a couple years. Elden Ring's been running on the Steam Deck pretty well. Yes, Valve stepped in to patch it since 2022. And if you have an OLED Steam Deck, you could play it in HDR on the go, and it looks absolutely amazing. I'm not in bed financially with Valve. I'm just telling you like it is. A Nintendo system, which is about 3 years newer than the Steam Deck, can't run the game well. Let that sink in. Hopefully this isn't a sign of the future for the Switch 2, but we'll have to wait and see. And if it is a sign, there's plenty of other places now to play third-party games on the go. Nintendo needs to pay attention to that. This is Rich Tomorrow, signing out. Have a good one. Sub to the ASMR channel and sub here too.